Hello boys and girls, TNB Metals back here. Been working out here in the garage a little bit, trying to clean up a little. We ended up hauling, me and my son, we hauled 9 bags of insulation off. All because I didn't have a bag that would fit my can, my drum can, so I got my other trash can brought in here to where I could actually put a bag in it, because man, that was bad. You can still say I still got a lot of cleaning to do, but we've made some progress, so I'm pretty happy with that. Fixing to set up and run this 10 gauge wire. I've got a little 10 gauge wire, and I've got just a tiny bit of 12 gauge wire. I know I need grease, Mr. Scrap It All. But normally, I mean, this is the good heavy wire that comes out of these tear outs. It come out of where I work at. They've been moving a lot of lines around, so they've been doing a lot of changing the electrical around, and they won't reuse it after it's been pulled through conduit, which I understand that. I've found some that wasn't hurt after it was pulled, and I found some that was. So I mean, I can understand not wanting to use it, you know, after it's been run through the conduit, because you ain't really got time to inspect it and look through it. And but now stripping it like I do, I've actually found several pieces that did have something wrong with it, some kind of cut in the insulation or something like that. This black wire right here is a 12, it's about a 14 gauge. Yep, 14. I'm gonna try to, I had it in this spool right here just to tie it together. I'm gonna try to make sure I don't accidentally pick it up by mistake, but I'm gonna set this stripmeister up and cut one, and then I'll be right back, and we'll get started. All right, I got the stripmeister adjusted to where I want it at for the cut on these. Like I say, generally if my son's out here or my daughter, I'll have them stretch it out to where it don't tangle, but we're not going to do that today because I don't have either one of them out here. So we're just going to toss it on the floor, and we're going to run it until it stops, and when it stops I'll cut it, and I'll just keep running it until I cut all the end pieces. But I'm going to run a piece through real quick. I like this foot pedal because I can variable speed it, and I can fast or slow, just pretty much however I want to do it. But just gonna run it till, okay, we're about to the end of it, so I'm gonna come right here and clip it. And then I'll just go back to my I'll go back to my next piece, and then eventually I'm gonna check this piece out. Then eventually I'll have all the pieces ran without having to untangle it. It seems to work pretty good for me doing it this way. But now that we have a bag and a can that fits, we're not going to be piling up insulation in the floor no more. We'll be throwing it away as we do it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and do all this like this. What I'll do is I'll run it and then bring my can to me and then take the insulation off. I just like to run a piece to make sure that my settings are where I want them at, and everything looks good, and so far it does. But I'll go ahead and if you can't find an end, just make an end. I need to get my bigger cutters out. Them are a little bit small for what I'm doing. Run this piece, and then I'll get my other cutters out, and maybe put you guys on time warp and let you watch me do it if you want to. If you don't, I understand. It does get kind of boring. not very exciting watching somebody else strip wire. But let me get a different pair of cutters, and then I'll go ahead and wrap this piece right here up, and I'll set the camera up and do a time lapse, and then maybe come back in when I get done with it. Then I may stop before I get done. Alright, we should be on time lapse. Hoping the camera's in a pretty good position. I do have some trouble sometimes with it moving on me in case it ain't. Well, that worked better than I expected. Alright, I got those pieces ran. I'm gonna go ahead and break down the insulation off of this one. I'll do a couple and then cut this out, come back with the end of it, I guess, or probably won't do all of it because I've got more over here in this bin that I need to do. And as soon as the wife and daughter gets home, I'm sure we'll have to do something about dinner. And about time to go tell my son to feed the dog. He does a pretty good job, but he tends to forget every day. Have to remind him. I know usually, like with the Romex, I cut them short, but I didn't cut this short just because I just wanted to hurry up and run it and try to do a quick little, pretty much just trying to see if I can figure out the time lapse on the GoPro. Because if I can, I wouldn't care to try to do a little more breakdown stuff, but I just don't want to not be able to do it and then make a 45-minute video tearing down a microwave that everybody's seen and done before. So, but yeah, 10 gauge probably ain't everybody's go-to for stripping, but actually I have made more money off the 10 gauge than I have any copper I've ever had because I get more of it. That bucket's essentially all 10 gauge. There's a couple motor cuttings in it, but when I get a bucket that's 50 pounds, I use a 4-gallon bucket. Get them at the donut shop, that way they're nice and clean. When I get 50 pound to the bucket, I'll get it in there. I've never yet to get it in there. Then I'll pull it to the side, and then I know it's got 50 pound in it. So whenever I get ready to haul that bucket, I know what I've got. The buckets weigh 1.4, so of course I always add that in. So I'll try to run 51.6 on my scale. And so far, me and the scrap yard that I go to, we have never been off on anything except I took some red brass and some yellow brass one day, and they don't classify red brass, so we added it in with the yellow brass. Well, I didn't weigh the red brass because there wasn't a lot of it, so that threw my yellow brass weight off. But generally, if I'm taking copper of any kind, I know the weights before I get there, and they know I weigh it. And like I say, they've never tried to beat me on anything, and I don't think that they would. And I don't necessarily do it for that reason. I do it more because I want to know what I got before I leave, and I want to know kind of what my payday is going to be. But just on the on the safe side, that if something was up, that their scale was way off, then I would probably have an issue to call out with them on it. But I mean, as long as their scales, if we're within a pound, I'm not going to complain. But the little Amazon scale I've got, it's the same scale I noticed that Scholar Metals uses. So I don't know if you watch him or not, but if you don't, go over and check him out. He does some good scrap videos and some really good pour videos. And he's got a mowing channel, Up North Mowing Dude. And he helps, maybe we could say, less fortunate people with their yard work, which I respect that. Hats off to him for that. And he's got another one about carnivore diet. And so go over and check him out. If you ain't subscribed to him, throw him a subscription there, and like, comment on his videos, because I mean, like I say, he makes some really good stuff, and I like watching him, and he's a pretty funny guy too. But he's up in the Green Bay area, so he's dealing with the snow and the cold more than people like I am. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure out the time lapse, time warp, whichever one you want to call it. I suppose there's one for stationary video and one for moving video. I guess the time warp's for moving, time lapse is for stationary. I don't know, don't even know which one I turned it on. I just turned it on one of them, and I'm gonna see what happens. And I'm gonna do this piece of wire right here, and then I'm probably gonna call it on this video. Just like I said, everybody's seen this 10 billion times, probably done it that many times too. But normally I would bring everything over there and do it all and sit down, but I've still got what's in this tote right here. Of course, there's some 14 in that, some 12, some 10. But I just get random amounts. I don't never actually know what I'm gonna get. I don't do the electrical work or the maintenance work, but the electricians and the maintenance guys, they'll keep it back for me when they tear it out. They have leftover, whatever, cut-offs or however you want to look at it, but they'll lay it back for me, and then when I get enough to compensate the time, I'll take it over to a shipping scale and weigh it, and then I buy it insulated from the GM where I work, him and the engineer. Then I guess they put the cash back into fund money, as far as I know, just for different things that they do, like we have dinners sometimes, or they might have a cookout or something along that line. I think that's pretty much what they do with the money. But they write me a bill of sale, and they're happy and I'm happy, and everybody wins at the end of the day. And like I say, I've done more 10 gauge than I've done anything else, and I've done so much I've got my stripmeister marked where I run it at. I've also done so much SO, I've got it marked where I run it at too. And about made a mistake on that. That's 6 gauge or 8 gauge, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and probably call this video and see if I can get it uploaded. I gotta get ready to go to work tomorrow. Just wanted to show you guys that I wasn't lying. I do eventually try to clean the shop, the garage a little. And we done a lot to it, but we still got a lot to go. And of course I had to, my sons wanting to go in and do a little friend talking and all that good stuff, because they are on spring break. And he's wanting to go in and talk to some of his friends and play a game or something with them online. But he's been with me pretty much all day. We worked on it some yesterday and just a little bit last night. Like I say, it was pretty out of control. But then I had to stop this morning. I had to stop about 6 o'clock in the morning because I ran out of garbage bags. So had to wait on the hardware store to open so I could go get some good bags and get back. And we ended up hauling, I think, 5 bags of insulation today to the dump. And so I'd say we ended up hauling 500 pounds of insulation, but it was a lot from the SO cable that I had done. And that SO cable, it makes a mess. And the insulation's heavy. You got all the trash, you got the outside jacket, and then you got the inside jackets on all 4 of them, and then you also have the paper or the plastic that's wrapped around them, depending on what kind it is. So it don't take long with it to make an absolute mess. Now that's what I was talking about, running them double, and then it just pretty much falls off when I get to this end of it. Thought there was another piece, but I guess there wasn't. But anyway, I'm gonna call this video here, clean this up a little bit, put up what I've got out, charge my Milwaukee batteries, and see if I can find out where the wife and little girl is so we can have some dinner tonight. If you watch the video, like it, subscribe, comment, and give me some suggestions, because we're dedicated to doing this if we can get people to watch it. I mean, I watch stuff all the time. I learn something new every day, and I might be doing something that you don't do. You might be doing something that I don't do, and we might possibly end up having a better way than the other person's way. So anyway, if you made it this far, appreciate you watching it. And if you don't care, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one. We're out.